Every goal you've set for your body, your strength, and your future is waiting for one thing: discipline. Motivation may get you through the first week, but it's discipline that carries you through the months and years it takes to truly transform. Discipline is the backbone of every rep, every drop of sweat, every ounce of progress. Without it, you're stuck in the cycle of starting and quitting. With it, you become unstoppable. Ask yourself this: what kind of person do you want to be? The one who quits when it gets hard, or the one who rises when it gets heavy? Because discipline isn't just about workouts, it's about who you are when no one is watching. The body doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to discipline. And the iron never lies. It will always reveal if you've been disciplined or if you've been drifting. When you walk into the gym, the first battle is already won. Showing up is the foundation of discipline, because the hardest part is not the lift, it's the decision to walk through that door. Too many people wait for the perfect time, or for the right feeling, to kick in before they act. But those who succeed don't wait for feelings. They create momentum by showing up no matter what. Think about the days when you're tired, when your schedule is packed, when your mind screams that you deserve a break. Those are the days that test your commitment. Anyone can train when it's easy, but discipline is forged when it's difficult. That's when your presence in the gym becomes a declaration. I'm not here because I feel like it. I'm here because I said I would be. Every time you show up despite the excuses, you build a mental muscle stronger than any bicep curl or deadlift. You're teaching yourself that your word means something, that you're a person of follow through. The body responds to consistency, but more importantly, the mind responds to discipline. It begins to understand that comfort doesn't dictate action. You do. Missing one session easily turns into missing a week. That's how most people quit. They let one excuse grow into a pattern, but showing up breaks that chain before it starts. Even if the session isn't your best, even if you can't hit personal records, you're still reinforcing the habit. You're saying to yourself, my goals matter more than my excuses. When you show up regardless of circumstances, you send a message to your subconscious. You're rewiring it to know that training isn't optional, it's who you are. This mindset spills into every part of your life. You don't just show up at the gym, you show up at work, in relationships, in your responsibilities. Discipline in one area breeds discipline in all areas. Look around at those who have transformed their bodies. It wasn't just the strongest who succeeded, and it wasn't just the most talented. It was those who showed up day after day, brick after brick, rep after rep. The gym rewards consistency far more than intensity. If you want to change, you can't be a sometimes person. You must be an every-time person. Even professional athletes with all their talent know that the edge is found in showing up relentlessly. They don't rely on feelings, they rely on habits. They know that discipline beats motivation every time. And if it's true for them at the highest level, it's even more true for us. The gym doesn't care if you're tired, it only rewards consistency. Think of showing up as your down payment. Every session is a deposit in the bank of results. You may not see the return today, but over time, those deposits compound into strength, muscle, and transformation. The people who stop making deposits wonder why the account is empty, but those who keep paying in with sweat and effort eventually cash out with results beyond imagination. Some days you'll walk in with fire in your eyes, ready to destroy every set. Other days you'll walk in dragging yourself, barely awake. Both days matter equally, because discipline isn't about how much energy you had. It's about the fact that you refused to stay home. You refused to let feelings decide your future. That's how champions think. At the end of the day, showing up is proof that you're serious. Anyone can talk about goals, anyone can dream about transformation, but few prove it by action. The gym doesn't respect words, it respects discipline. So every time you step inside, remind yourself, this is where I separate myself from the average. The average person quits. The disciplined person shows up, always, Random effort always leads to random results. In the gym, discipline is measured by how well you stick to the plan you committed to. A workout program isn't just a suggestion, it's the map to your destination. When you jump from one thing to another without direction, you're like a traveler wandering without a compass. But when you follow the plan with consistency, you create a straight line from where you are to where you want to be. Every rep, every set, every prescribed rest period exists for a reason. They're not there to fill time, they're there to build progress. Discipline means respecting that structure even when you feel like doing more, or worse, doing less. It's easy to say, I'll just skip leg day, or I'll cut this workout short, but every shortcut taken in the gym is a long delay in your results. The weights don't lie, and neither does your body. When you stick to the plan, you eliminate excuses. You no longer ask, what should I do today? Because the answer is already written down. That structure removes indecision, and with it, the temptation to cut corners. You know exactly what needs to be done, and your only job is to execute. That's discipline in its purest form. Obedience to the plan, not obedience to emotions. The people who fail are often the ones who change their program every week. One day they're chasing strength, the next they're chasing endurance, the next they're copying someone else's workout on social media. They never stay consistent long enough to see real results. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's effective. Repeating the same plan consistently outperforms 1,000 half-started experiments. Think about the great physiques you admire. They weren't built by chaos. They were built by a system, followed relentlessly over time. The same lifts, the same routine, the same discipline, executed day in and day out. The plan doesn't need to be exciting, it needs to be followed. Progress is hidden in repetition, and discipline is what keeps you showing up for those repetitions. There will be days you feel strong and you want to throw the plan out the window and do whatever feels good. But feelings are unreliable. A disciplined athlete knows that chasing emotions is a trap. The plan is there for a reason. It ensures balanced growth, proper recovery, and steady progress. Ignoring it might feel satisfying in the moment, but it robs you of the long-term vision. The truth is, the plan doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care if you're tired, busy, or stressed. The weights will always be waiting. The sets will always demand to be completed. Discipline is what keeps you on track when everything else tries to pull you away. It's your anchor, holding you steady through the storms of life. And here's the secret. The more you follow the plan, the more trust you build with yourself. You begin to see that every time you stick to it, results follow. That builds confidence, and confidence feeds commitment. Soon, the plan isn't just a piece of paper. It's a contract with yourself. Breaking it feels like breaking your own word, and a disciplined person doesn't betray themselves. When you truly commit to sticking to the plan, you stop asking, does this work? Because you already know it does. The only question left is, will I keep going? And if your answer is yes, if your discipline is firm, then results are guaranteed. Not overnight, not instantly, but inevitably. At the end of the day, discipline is what separates wishful thinking from true transformation. Talk is cheap, motivation fades, but discipline endures. Stick to the plan, respect the plan. Trust the plan, because in the gym and in life, the disciplined are the ones who always win. Discipline is not only about showing up and following the plan. It's also about paying attention to the small details that most people ignore. Progress in the gym doesn't come just from lifting heavy. It comes from lifting correctly, with precision and with consistency. The small things you do repeatedly stack up into massive change over time. Every little choice either takes you closer to your goal or pulls you further away. When you discipline yourself to focus on form, you protect your body and maximize your results. Anyone can throw weights around, but the disciplined lifter pays attention to the way each rep is performed. Perfect form might feel slower, it might feel less impressive than loading up heavy plates, but it's what ensures long-term growth without injury. That attention to detail is what separates the disciplined athlete from the careless one. Logging your progress is another detail that matters. Too many people walk into the gym and repeat the same numbers week after week with no record, no accountability, no direction. Discipline means keeping track of your lifts, your sets, your reps, your meals, even your sleep. This data becomes your scoreboard, and you can't win a game if you don't know the score. Tracking is boring for the undisciplined, but it's a weapon for those who are serious. Nutrition is a detail many neglect. Discipline isn't just what you do inside the gym. It's also what you put into your body outside of it. You can't out-train a bad diet, and you can't expect maximum performance when you fuel yourself with junk. Every disciplined choice, choosing water instead of soda, lean protein instead of fried food, whole fuel instead of empty calories, builds a body that performs at its peak. The details in the kitchen matter just as much as the details on the gym floor. Rest is another overlooked detail. Some people pride themselves on staying up late, cutting sleep short, and grinding endlessly, but discipline isn't about destroying yourself. It's about building yourself. Muscles repair during sleep. Hormones balance during recovery. Without disciplined rest, you rob yourself of gains you've already worked for. The undisciplined see sleep as optional, the disciplined see it as essential. Hydration may seem insignificant, but even a small drop in hydration can affect your performance, energy, and focus. Drinking water consistently is a detail that adds up. The body thrives when cared for in these small ways. Discipline means respecting even the things that seem minor, because over time they create a major difference in your strength and endurance. Mindset during each workout is another detail. Are you mindlessly going through the motions, or are you locked in, giving full effort with each rep? Discipline means being present in the moment, not just passing time until the workout is over. Every rep is an opportunity to grow, and the disciplined athlete treats it with intensity and focus. Even how you start and end your workouts is part of discipline. Warming up properly, stretching, cooling down. These aren't glamorous, but they are the foundation of longevity. The undisciplined skip them and pay the price later with injuries and setbacks. The disciplined respect these small rituals, knowing they add years to their progress and keep them in the game longer. Over time, these small disciplined actions create momentum that cannot be stopped. Alone, they may feel insignificant. What's one glass of water, one night of sleep, one logged workout? But stacked day after day, they create compound growth. The body responds to patterns, and discipline in the small details builds a pattern of excellence. At the end of the day, greatness is hidden in the details. The average lifter overlooks them, but the disciplined master them. It's not the big moments that define success. It's the countless small, disciplined choices that nobody sees. And when you add them all up, that's when transformation happens. Discipline in the details creates results that speak louder than words ever could. Growth doesn't live in the comfort zone. In the gym, comfort is the enemy of progress. Discipline means choosing the harder path, the path that forces you to stretch beyond what feels easy. Every time you pick up a weight, your body is begging you to stop at good enough. But discipline is the voice that says, one more rep, one more set, one more push. That's where change happens, right on the edge of discomfort. Most people stop as soon as the burn kicks in, as soon as their muscles start screaming. They confuse discomfort with failure, but they're not the same. Discomfort is a sign that you're pushing your limits, that you're knocking on the door of growth. Failure only happens when you walk away before that door opens. Discipline is what keeps you pushing until your body adapts, until strength is born from struggle. Think about your greatest workouts. They weren't the ones that felt easy. They were the ones where you walked out drained, sweaty, and proud because you pushed yourself further than before. That's the reward of discipline, knowing you refuse to settle. The bar didn't move itself, the treadmill didn't run itself. You did it because you didn't back down when it got uncomfortable. It's not just about the body, it's about the mind. Every time you push past comfort, you're training your brain to stop giving in to weakness. You're rewiring your mind to see discomfort not as a threat, but as a challenge. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from "I can't" to "I will." And the more you walk across that bridge, the stronger your mental toughness becomes. Discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. When you stay in that uncomfortable zone just a little longer, you're teaching yourself resilience. That resilience doesn't just make you stronger in the gym, it makes you unshakable in life. The same mindset that pushes you through the last set will push you through challenges outside these walls. Your comfort zone will always tempt you. It whispers, "You've done enough, you can stop now." But the body doesn't transform in enough. It transforms in extra. The extra rep, the extra mile, the extra moment of effort. That's where discipline shines. The undisciplined settle at comfort. The disciplined push past it. And that small difference creates massive results over time. Even professional athletes, with all their talent, live by this principle. They know that talent alone can only take you so far. What separates the best from the rest is the willingness to go beyond comfort. They train harder, longer, and smarter, not because it's easy, but because discipline demands it. If it works for them at the highest level, it works for anyone willing to apply it. Sometimes pushing past comfort doesn't mean lifting heavier. It means staying consistent when you'd rather quit. It means running when your legs feel heavy, holding form when your muscles shake, finishing a workout when every cell in your body says stop. Discipline shows up in these small decisions, and each time you choose discomfort over comfort, you level up. Over time, discomfort becomes familiar. What once felt impossible starts to feel normal, and your limits expand. That's the beauty of discipline. It stretches your potential again and again. The weights you once feared become warm-ups. The workouts you once dreaded become routines. And then you find new challenges, new discomforts, new levels to conquer. In the end, the question is simple. Will you choose comfort or will you choose growth? Comfort keeps you average, but discipline pushes you toward greatness. Every drop of sweat, every moment of burn, every second you refuse to quit is proof that you're built different. Discipline isn't about avoiding comfort, it's about crushing it and replacing it with strength. Discipline is the art of saying "not now," so you can say yes later with pride. In the gym, that means delaying gratification. It's easy to give in to short-term pleasures, skipping workouts, eating junk food, staying comfortable. But discipline forces you to see further down the road. It reminds you that the body you want, the strength you dream about, the confidence you crave won't come from easy choices. It will come from the sacrifices you're willing to make today. Every time you choose clean fuel over empty calories, you're making an investment in your future self. That one decision might not show up in the mirror tomorrow, but over weeks and months it becomes the difference between average results and extraordinary transformation. The undisciplined give in to cravings. The disciplined turn those cravings into reminders of their commitment. Delayed gratification is about training your willpower as much as your muscles. The cookie on the table, the party you skip, the late night cravings you silence, all of it is building mental toughness. You're teaching yourself that your goals have more value than a moment of pleasure. Every no you say to temptation is a louder yes to the vision of who you want to become. Look at the great physiques carved by discipline. Do you think they got there by giving in every time temptation knocked? No, they delayed gratification. They endured seasons of sacrifice so they could enjoy a lifetime of results. And here's the truth. The reward of discipline lasts, but the reward of indulgence is gone in minutes. That's why champions choose the long, term every time. In the gym, delayed gratification looks like putting in weeks of hard work without visible changes, trusting that results will come if you keep going. It's pushing through workouts knowing that the mirror might not show progress yet, but the body is changing beneath the surface. The disciplined keep showing up because they know transformation isn't instant, it's earned. Sacrifice is the price of success, and discipline is the method of payment. You sacrifice comfort, you sacrifice laziness, you sacrifice short-term pleasure so you can build something greater. The undisciplined can't stand the wait, they want results today. But the disciplined understand that the longer you wait, the greater the reward. Muscles don't grow overnight, but they do grow for those who persist. Every time you delay gratification, you sharpen your character. You're not just building a stronger body, you're building a stronger version of yourself. The kind of person who can resist temptation, who can keep a promise to themselves, who can delay comfort for greatness. That kind of person wins not only in the gym, but in life. There will always be voices around you saying, "Live a little, it won't hurt," but every choice matters. One skipped workout, one bad habit, one repeated excuse stacks up just as much as discipline does. The difference is that discipline stacks into strength, while excuses stack into regret. Which pile you build is up to you, and here's the secret. Once you start practicing delayed gratification, it gets easier. Saying no becomes a habit, and the satisfaction of discipline outweighs the cheap pleasure of indulgence. Soon, the foods that once tempted you lose their grip, and the comforts that once distracted you no longer have power. The reward of progress becomes more fulfilling than anything else. At the end of the day, discipline means choosing future glory over present comfort. Delayed gratification is the mark of the committed, the patient, the relentless. You can either enjoy a few minutes of pleasure now or enjoy a lifetime of results later. The choice is yours. Champions always choose later. Discipline is the art of saying not now, so you can say yes later with pride. In the gym, that means delaying gratification. It's easy to give in to short-term pleasures, skipping workouts, eating junk food, staying comfortable. But discipline forces you to see further down the road. It reminds you that the body you want, the strength you dream about, the confidence you crave won't come from easy choices. It will come from the sacrifices you're willing to make today. Every time you choose clean fuel over empty calories, you're making an investment in your future self. That one decision might not show up in the mirror tomorrow, but over weeks and months it becomes the difference between average results and extraordinary transformation. The undisciplined give in to cravings, the disciplined turn those cravings into reminders of their commitment. Delayed gratification is about training your willpower as much as your muscles. The cookie on the table, the party you skip, the late night cravings you silence, all of it is building mental toughness. You're teaching yourself that your goals have more value than a moment of pleasure. Every no you say to temptation is a louder yes to the vision of who you want to become. Look at the great physiques carved by discipline. Do you think they got there by giving in every time temptation knocked? No, they delayed gratification. They endured seasons of sacrifice so they could enjoy a lifetime of results. And here's the truth. The reward of discipline lasts, but the reward of indulgence is gone in minutes. That's why champions choose the long term every time. In the gym, delayed gratification looks like putting in weeks of hard work without visible changes, trusting that results will come if you keep going. It's pushing through workouts knowing that the mirror might not show progress yet, but the body is changing beneath the surface. The disciplined keep showing up because they know transformation isn't instant, it's earned. Sacrifice is the price of success, and discipline is the method of payment. You sacrifice comfort, you sacrifice laziness, you sacrifice short-term pleasure so you can build something greater. The undisciplined can't stand the wait, they want results today, but the disciplined understand that the longer you wait, the greater the reward. Muscles don't grow overnight, but they do grow for those who persist. Every time you delay gratification, you sharpen your character. You're not just building a stronger body, you're building a stronger version of yourself. The kind of person who can resist temptation, who can keep a promise to themselves, who can delay comfort for greatness. That kind of person wins not only in the gym but in life. There will always be voices around you saying, "Live a little, it won't hurt," but every choice matters. One skipped workout, one bad habit, one repeated excuse stacks up just as much as discipline does. The difference is that discipline stacks into strength, while excuses stack into regret. Which pile you build is up to you, and here's the secret. Once you start practicing delayed gratification, it gets easier. Saying no becomes a habit, and the satisfaction of discipline outweighs the cheap pleasure of indulgence. Soon, the foods that once tempted you lose their grip, and the comforts that once distracted you no longer have power. The reward of progress becomes more fulfilling than anything else. At the end of the day, discipline means choosing future glory over present comfort. Delayed gratification is the mark of the committed, the patient, the relentless. You can either enjoy a few minutes of pleasure now or enjoy a lifetime of results later. The choice is yours. Champions always choose later. Discipline isn't something you try on like a pair of shoes. It's something you become. It has to be your identity. If you treat discipline like an option, you'll quit the moment things get tough. But when it becomes who you are, quitting isn't even on the table. You don't think, "Should I train today?" You think, "I train because that's what I do. That's who I am." When you build discipline as your identity, the gym stops being a place you visit. It becomes part of your lifestyle. Just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast, it's automatic. You don't have to force yourself. You just do it because it's ingrained in you. That's the difference between people who dabble in fitness and those who live it. The dabblers wait for motivation. The disciplined act from identity. Your identity is shaped by the choices you make repeatedly. If you skip workouts often, you're telling yourself you're the kind of person who quits. If you show up every day, no matter what, you're telling yourself you're the kind of person who keeps promises. The more consistent you are, the more your identity solidifies. You're not just building muscle, you're building a reputation with yourself. People who make discipline their identity carry themselves differently. You can see it in the way they train, the way they eat, the way they rest. There's no hesitation, no debating, no second guessing. It's locked in. They are disciplined, and everything about their actions reflects it. That level of certainty doesn't come from wishing. It comes from choosing and repeating until it becomes who you are. Think about the athletes you admire. They don't practice discipline just to reach a goal. They live it because it's part of them. Even after they achieve success, they stay disciplined. That's why they stay great while others fade away. Their discipline isn't tied to a moment. It's tied to their identity. And when discipline becomes your identity, you never stop leveling up. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. The disciplined identity doesn't crumble after a mistake. You might miss one workout, but you don't let it define you because you know who you are. You bounce back immediately because discipline isn't something you switch on and off. It's your default setting. That's the power of identity. When discipline becomes your identity, you don't rely on outside validation. You don't need people to cheer you on. You don't need constant motivation. You don't need anyone watching. You do it because that's who you are. The applause may fade, but your discipline carries you forward anyway. That's why identity is stronger than motivation. It doesn't depend on emotions or circumstances. It also changes how others see you. When people know you as disciplined, they respect you. They trust your word, they admire your consistency, and they know you're not the type to fold under pressure. That reputation is powerful because it inspires others and holds you accountable. You won't want to break the image of who you are, so you keep living it. Over time, this identity bleeds into every part of your life. You're disciplined not just in the gym, but in your work, your habits, your relationships. You start to hold yourself to higher standards in everything you do. That's when discipline transforms from being about muscles into being about character. And character lasts far longer than strength. At the end of the day, becoming disciplined isn't about chasing a temporary goal. It's about becoming the type of person who never stops. Once discipline is your identity, you no longer ask if you'll succeed. You know you will because you are built on consistency, persistence, and resilience. Discipline isn't what you do, it's who you are, and once it becomes who you are, nothing can stop you. At the end of the day, discipline is the greatest muscle you'll ever build. Motivation fades, talent can only go so far, but discipline, it endures. It shows up when you're tired, it pushes you when you're weak, it shapes you when nothing else will. So don't just chase results, become the kind of person who is disciplined, no matter what. Because once you develop discipline, you won't just change your body, you'll change your life.